How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Gamer Grudge. I am Aiden with Game Sandwich, and today we're going to be talking about Pokémon Legends ZA again. Kevin and I already did a video on it, but I wanted to touch base on it again because I just wanted to talk about how Nintendo is scamming everybody nowadays in their new era of the Switch 2. And also, they were scamming people back in the age of the regular Switch, but now it's more prevalent than ever before. But I am joined, of course, by Andrew Interactive. Andrew, why don't you say what's up?
Was
He's going full 90s with the Wazops. But before we get into everything, let me go ahead and roll the intro. Alright, so we are going to be talking about Pokemon Legends ZA today and basically how Nintendo is like just scamming everybody nowadays with the Switch 2. I mean, starting with the Switch 2 specifically, that system being like a scam in itself because so far they haven't released any games for it. They didn't have a lineup when they started with it. And they don't really have a lineup of games that look promising in the future anyway. Like Kirby Air Riders, yes, I was a fan of the original one, but even that one, I'm not like 100% convinced that it's going to be worth the money that I'm going to be paying for it if I even decide to get it, because it's probably going to be a $70 game that I just don't feel like getting. And Pokemon Legends ZA as well, $70 game, not obviously not worth the money that you pay for it, because if I were to tell you, like, if this did not have the Pokemon name on it, and Andrew, feel free to chime in here, but like, if it did not have the Pokemon name on it, would you pay $70 for this type of shit?
if I was a Pokemon fan?
No, if you
Uh,
saw this game, no attachment to Pokemon, would you get it for $70?
no, but then again, I also wouldn't get ZA for $70.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, besides the point, like, but anyway, so like,
But no, I wouldn't.
but like, so ZA, the reason why people are paying $70 for it is just because they are massive Pokemon fans, and I get it. I'm a fan of Pokemon. I like Pokemon. I really enjoyed the games all the way up until Black and White, and I enjoyed Black and White, and then after that, I was like, I lost interest a lot because they started going downhill, especially with all the terrible freaking gimmicks. But more so than ever before, we realized that this game is just not worth the money that was paid. And for context here, I wanted to do a dive into what the budgets were for various games. And I also wanted to just like draw a comparison here between what we should expect from Game Freak, what we should expect from Nintendo versus what we actually get based off their budgets. Because we know that their games sell well enough that they more than make up for the budget that the game is like that the game has. So, for instance, Pokemon Legends ZA, it had a $13 million budget, apparently. This is according to a 2024 data leak. But, so that's about 2 billion yen. There you go. $13 million budget. That is less of a budget than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which Scarlet and Violet had a 21 to like 20 to 21 million dollar budget, apparently, according to the leak as well. Now, let's have a comparison here to a game that Andrew really enjoys, that I really enjoyed when it first came out as well, and I still enjoy occasionally, which is Pal World. And that game had a I had a budget of 6.7 million USD, or about 1 billion yen, which is half of what Pokemon Legends ZA has. Which, when you think about it like this, the map for Pal World is massive, has so much more detail than Pokemon Legends ZA. And yeah, sure, there's less pals, but the mechanics here are very similar to what you see in Pokemon Legends ZA when it comes to battling, and there
Yeah,
should be no
half
excuse
the
here.
price.
Yeah, like Andrew
Actually,
just
less
said.
than half.
Yeah, less than half the price. You're paying $30 at launch for Pal World, and 70 for Pokemon Legends ZA. That is coming from also the biggest game franchise in the entire world. And Andrew specifically has been playing Digimon Time Stranger, like Digimon Story Time Stranger. And so I haven't been playing that, but he can speak on that. So Andrew, like, tell me more about that in comparison to Pokemon Legends ZA from what you've been seeing of it.
From what I've been seeing, it's miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Actually, it's light years ahead of it. Okay, I think you still got your quote unquote capture mechanic because you have to like get the data and convert it. You still got your creature catching thing. You got your raising. But in Digimon, you can go back and forth. You got different branching routes. You got voice acting, which a lot of people have been asking Pokemon for voice acting. So you don't have like boring ass cutscenes with just silence.
Yeah,
You
you
don't
know
even
what?
have.
Just
They don't
just
even. They
because you
don't even
mentioned
attempt.
that, like voice acting, like seriously, Pokemon, at this point, you could definitely freaking have it. But I'm sorry, but go ahead and continue.
They don't even make the attempt to do like the old style thing or like what people are calling the Undertale dialogue, like do. They don't even do that. Don't even make an attempt of that. Like that's just like a sound they could do. Uh, from what I've been seeing, there's actual story to this Time Stranger. That as far like I said, I haven't played it. I've just been seeing everything. I've been seeing the lick and stick walls and windows and stuff. As far as I've seen, there's not really a story to ZA. It's just you're trying to rank up from Z to A, but you skip like half the fucking alphabet.
So I will say this: there is a story in ZA. There is that, and it is. So the first part is they are doing urban redevelopment, and that they are redeveloping Lumiose City by adding wild zones and everything, so that Pokemon and like people can interact with each other and like yada yada yada, and live amongst each other like peacefully. That's one side of the story. The other side is that rogue mega Pokemon are just appearing and just like turning into mega forms like out of nowhere, and you have to stop it. That's the story so far. I haven't beaten the game, but like that's the story. And Kevin and I hit on it in our video about it, which is they could have just done the same story, but also expanded it into a bigger map and outside of Lumiose, because they could have like allowed you to go through the whole Kalos region again and just been like, oh, mega Pokemon are popping up around the whole region, not just in the city itself. So yeah, so there is a story, but it's not. I will say
Yeah,
this: it's not deep. It is like maybe like if you're talking like levels of deepness here of like 1 to 10, it's probably like 3 layers deep, and that's it.
yeah. Like I said, I wasn't gonna try to speak for a story for it, but like people like a big part of the appeal for Pokemon is the creature catching mechanic and raising them. In Digimon, you can go up and down, and they actually inherit their stats. So if you want to like level them up and then de-level them or like make them go to their previous stage, they'll they'll inherit some stats and make them even stronger. And you're just raising bigger and better things. You can even fuse two together to make one. You got different ways to do it, and like I said, I just feel the story is better. A lot of people share the same consistency that the story is better. It looks visually better. You know, you actually get to move around and have environments that look good and not flat and boring. Runs pretty well, and like I said, I can't speak too much on it, but I've seen some stuffs.
No, I
I will
get you.
say
I get
people are
you.
excited. I will say people are excited about a certain lady in the game. I don't really know her. I don't know anything about her. I just been seeing screenshots of people abusing photo mode.
Yeah.
You
Oh
got
yeah.
that in
Oh yeah.
spades in Digimon. People love some Digimon. There's some Digimon that'll fill that quota for you too.
But you know what? Okay,
You guys from
so
both sides.
with Digimon Storytime Stranger as well, I'm going to also point out here that amongst all the critic reviews and everything, so like there's not any reviews from like player reviews. Like there's 15 out of 20 on here. So sad there, but critic reviews wise, you're at 80% recommended basically. Top critic average is 80 right there. And for Pokemon Legends ZA, the for the review charts here, we have 83% of critics recommend, which that's astounding to me that critics themselves recommend it. But I will say this for everyone who is like actually like questioning that, as someone who has worked alongside critics and who works with critics regularly, I do know that Pokemon not I'm not well, okay, I'm not going to say that Pokemon for sure does it, but it seems like very much like they would allegedly here. I'm not saying that they actually do, But I do know that there are multiple reviewers that I've worked with who have actually specifically said that they have changed their reviews based off of what a company has said to them or done for them. So like one of them openly admitted that they changed their review for a I'm not gonna like name anything because I don't want to implicate them, but specifically they said they changed their review for a vampire game after said developer was like, hey, we're gonna throw a party in Paris and invite you. And it's like, okay, well, who's to say that like Nintendo's not doing that? Who's to say Game Freak's not doing that in order to get people to like give them higher scores? Like for instance, like IGN. IGN's going to give them a top mark. They gave them an 8 out of 10 for this slop, and nobody even likes it. Like every single person's like, what the hell's going on with this? Because like you have a player rating right here of only 30. Like a player rating of 30 for a Pokemon game. That is ridiculous. But well, sorry, what were you saying?
I will say you can't say everybody because some people, whether it's nostalgia or just blind bias, there are people who do enjoy it. So can't say everybody,
Yeah.
but majority do not like it or are upset with it or wish that they
Yeah.
would do more.
I mean, there are people who like just blind, like have full blinders on. It's like Disney adults, for instance. Like there are Disney adults, there are Disney YouTubers specifically as well, who like Disney can be like, hey, guess what? We're gonna raise our prices by like double or whatever for a ticket, and then the people who are Disney adults will be like, oh my god, it's about time they did that. They deserve it. Blah blah blah. And the normal person's gonna be like, why the hell are you raising this price on me? I can't afford to go anymore. And same thing with like, destroying franchises and stuff. Like they destroyed the Star Wars franchise and people are like, "Oh my god, you're being ridiculous. Like the Star Wars franchise has never been better." When no, it hasn't. It's actually terrible now. Like they openly destroyed it and everything. And like same thing with like doing remakes and all that. And now you have like Nintendo who's like actively like destroying the Pokemon series and like Game Freak who's destroying the Pokemon series. And you have like people who are just blind to it. Like maybe the person at IGN is just a huge Pokemon fan and they like went, "Oh man, I love everything about it because I am like blind to anything that is like bad about Pokemon." But you have to remember, like, it's me who's like a fan. Andrew used to be a fan too of Pokemon, like, and it's like people like us who are like talking about the negatives to get them people to be aware for Nintendo to actually do something about it for once, or Game Freak to actually do something about it, and not just keep delivering the same old stuff that like has not been working. And because like there's no way that we should live in a world where like a Pokemon game has a 30 player review rating on OpenCritic. There's just no way that we should. And on Metacritic, it has a 4.6 rating out of 10, which is absolutely horrendous when you think about it. And then you have like then you also have like Pokemon. Well, actually, you know what? For Digimon, I could go off of Steam reviews because those are generally like user generated reviews, and for that you have people who are praising it, and it has mostly positive reviews at this point. And then you also have to talk about budget here, which like for the budget and to put in context for you, Pokemon is the highest grossing video game market in the world. It makes, and I had this pulled up right here. Okay, according to Visual Capitalist, in like 2024, Pokemon was estimated to be worth $147 billion dollars, with most of their revenue coming from merchandise, but the second highest amount of revenue for them coming from their video games at $28 billion dollars. Now, $28 billion dollars for that franchise. The budget for Pokemon Legends ZA being only $13 million dollars for that. When you have normal games like Borderlands 4 is one that I pulled up just to see because it's recent. That game runs actually quite well on PS5 and on PC now. Like there was a lot of bugs, don't get me wrong, but we have videos of that if you want to see them. But anyway, so you have a game like that runs like probably like I don't know, depending on what system you're running it on now. It runs fairly well. And the budget for that one was around $300 million. Now compare that to the 13 million of Pokemon Legends ZA, and compare that to the 20 million of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then also compare it to the 6.5 million or 6.7 million of Pal World. You have clear examples of a game that has a massive budget doing a much better job than Pokemon Legends ZA. And then you also have example of a game that had barely a budget compared to Pokemon Legends ZA and also doing better. Then you also have Clair Obscur, which I think Clair Obscur had like a $30 million budget, and that game is like 10 times better than Pokemon Legends ZA.
Game of the year, baby.
Exactly. Like Andrew can speak on that one as well. Like he played that one and he was obsessed with it, and it's bigger and better than Pokemon Legends ZA. So like there's no
Game of the year
excuse.
right there.
There is no excuse for a company that is a like $147 billion franchise on their hands to make a game with a $13 million budget that's this bad. They need to raise the budget for Pokemon, make it like $100 million, and then maybe they'd actually do something good, and they would like have people be happy for once. But I don't know, Andrew. Like, what do you think needs to be changed about this?
Uh, I think that people need to like not all together, but like these last couple ones, like they can get the old ones, but like you need to stop encouraging it from Nintendo by buying all the stuff and then be upset about it.
Yeah,
Speak with your dollar. Be like, hey, I'm not happy with this, but I'm gonna buy it anyways because I'm telling you it's okay to treat me like shit and disappoint me and not give me what I've been asking for years.
exactly. It's surprising how many times we have said that on this channel for in like the last year, like just in 2025 alone. We have said the phrase like vote with your dollar like so many times. It's ridiculous. But really, from now on, take a good hard look in the mirror, everybody. Take a good hard look at it and actually ask yourself if you really are okay with buying this. Because if you are even questioning it, like you should just say no. There should be no world where Pokemon is allowed to get away with this. There should be no world where Nintendo is allowed to get away with this with like constantly scamming people, saying, "Oh hey, look at this game. It's amazing. We make games that are worth their value," when they absolutely are not. Like Mario Kart World, not worth $80. Like Donkey Kong Bonanza, not worth $70. I'm sorry, it just is not. Pokemon Legends ZA, not worth $70. None of this is worth the money that you're paying for it, yet you're believing that it is, because Nintendo has just baited you into believing that at this point.
I mean,
But
if we're going creature hunting stuff, I would I bought Digimon Time Stranger.
yeah,
Even for the $70 version, I think that's well worth the money because you got good story, you got good visuals, you got everything that you want, you got the creatures and stuff, and they got like new game plus mode and they got mega plus and stuff, and you can carry that over in the game. You can replay the game and it's actually a lot harder and more challenging and gives you more stuff to do. Like, you can replay it and it actually gives you a challenge and it's an actual challenge
well, there you have it,
and stuff.
folks.
And if I were like everything I've seen and just looking at it, if I were to buy ZA and it was $70, I would honestly have regretted that choice.
Yeah. Which I mean, there are a lot of people who are, and there's a lot of people who have been posting on like Twitter saying like, "I regret buying this." And honestly, as someone who has the game, it's the first Pokemon game. Like even Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I was more invested in, and I hated that one. I was more invested in that one, and actually was more willing to continue playing it. This one, I play it for like a half an hour to an hour, and I'm like, I'm bored. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm like, I hate seeing all of this. But yet, I'm someone who's playing it for a job. So I can't believe someone who's playing it for fun, you know? But, you know what? Thank you, everybody, for listening to our rant. Thank you for joining us. If you've made it this far, please like the video. Please subscribe to Game Sandwich. Your support just really means a lot to us. But is there any final thought that you have, Andrew, about Pokemon Legends ZA before we sign off?
I just want Pokemon fans to get what they deserve.
Which is a far better game than what they're getting. Really is. But thank you again, everybody. We shall see you all in the next one.
Well, golly gee willikers, Batman.